positive
Yeah.
terms about Dishonored.
Well,
the
what's
video
I have my
Extra
Bugzilla
cast.
emails filtered
You
into
just
a
start.
folder, so like they just
Let
barf.
people walk in.
I don't get my work on my phone.
Oh, I get my work
Nick?
on my phone. Yeah, hopefully JP and Brendan just sort of like, come with us.
Yeah, I can see.
Skipping
I can totally
across.
see
I'm,
that.
I'm, pic-
I can
I'm
see it
picturing
up.
them being like,
TV.
the comedian Andy, what's his name, who like brought everybody
Kaufman?
out from Andy Kaufman, being like, "Come on, everybody, we're getting milk and cookies" after his show at Carnegie Hall.
We got
Did you ever see
candy.
that? Yeah.
Should we just take
Andy
the candy
Kaufman
and
did,
just
did a show at Carnegie
leave
Hall,
a
and
trail of
afterwards
candy
he had
on the way?
buses out in front of it and
That's good. That's what people want to
took
do.
the entire audience on buses to
We need to make a trail of candy from the
cafeteria
main
and
stage
gave
to
everybody
here.
That's
milk and
true.
cookies afterwards.
Nice.
So there's
I like
footage
the
of him like
divide,
running
the
out
direct
into the
water
parking
drinking
lot
half
with just
versus the,
like
like-
1,000 people
Oh,
behind him,
oops.
and
Jesus.
them just like
But
we're
piling into
He
classy.
had
buses.
buses arranged like ahead of time.
Did they spill
They're just
water
waiting
on
out
the
in the
Why
last
would we
parking
do
lot.
that? We
I
fucking
very clearly remember just
we
going.
really need like half
Yeah,
the
he's
bus.
threw a cup of water
Splashing
on me.
water.
We would need
all
like
over your
3
face.
cars. We could just ask people. Does anybody have cars?
No one on
That's
this
their
list.
panel ending. I heard it. That's their panel ending. That's where all the people are going to come from.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
We're yeah.
Various
We're planning our
furtive
water
actions
comedy
are
act,
occurring.
which seems to be a tradition.
I spilled water on myself so that Nick didn't have to
Yeah.
pour water on me.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yes. The first sip of water that I took just missed and poured straight onto my lap.
I'm just going to refill my water glass like this. Just like, well, oops.
It's got holes in it. It's fine.
Yeah. It's a good Foley water
This is
pouring
just your
sound.
filter, your water filter.
People are actually showing up for this, which is good.
Yeah.
Well, some.
Like a person showed up. Like someone showed up.
Some people.
Whatever.
No, I mean I know of at least 5 that aren't here. So I mean they're coming.
There's
Five
way more than five
confirmed.
people who are
5
not-
confirmed. I know of at least 5.
I know of
more.
at least 5
know.
Outcast listeners who are not at this.
There are
I can name at
possibly
least
10.
5 people that I know in my life who are not here, at least.
I think it will fill if we wait 10 minutes, but I don't know how long we want to wait.
My mom.
It is actually time to start, but people are still walking in, so maybe
Yeah.
we can give it a minute.
I think we should just wait till like 1:35 or whatever.
1:35.
Yeah.
1:35.
1:35 is the new go time.
Well, I mean, unless
This
it
episode's
seems
late.
stupid to do that, but I mean,
No,
I don't know.
1:45. Fuck it.
2:36.
We're never gonna start.
Can you guys come back tomorrow?
It's performance art.
Yeah, we're gonna
We
close
just-
out QuakeCon with this panel. God, surprise! This is the Ruination Cast, where we just read a bunch of dumb shit that people send us for 4 hours.
Oh yeah, that hasn't happened yet, has it?
Oh no, that's not happening.
We don't actually know when it's going to happen.
That's
at this point.
happening around the same time as the new site goes up. So,
So pretty much not
so
likely
year
to happen ever.
S3 is also yeah, 2015.
Oh no, this Tumblr is just a placeholder.
Steve, you can eat a dick. Have you seen the real site? It's really cool. Have you seen the real site? It's real cool. That's what I meant to say. I fucked it up.
Steve, you can drink a balls.
I
Steve,
drank
you can,
balls
you can
earlier.
chug 'em balls. Chug them balls.
Official drink of QuakeCon.
Steve, you
Balls.
balls YP.
Give me that balls.
You're not in this episode. You're not in this episode
No.
at all. I should sit further back.
I'll just
Hold on.
hear
Can
it.
I do this?
Yeah, you can.
I'm just live.
Oh
tweeting.
yeah.
I'll just hang out over here.
Oh wait, that's the other panel.
What?
I don't know. I keep hearing
Anytime
applause,
any
so I'm
noise
just
occurs.
hoping that it's.
They're
Oh.
just going over, just going way over because it's such it's so exciting relative to anything that Idle Thumbs can do.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, Brendan and JP have just claimed in that room that they're doing the Idle Thumbs live episode.
So stick
So
around.
just stay
So
here.
just stay in your seats
Do
for
not
the
leave.
Idle Thumbs
Do not
podcast
leave.
live arena.
They probably
Featuring-
should do that actually.
Featuring special guests JP LeBreton and Brendan Chung.
Brennan Chung even ever been a guest on the podcast?
No, I think he was on a Progress cast that got erased.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because we did it on a roof.
Yeah. That was a cool move, though, Roofcast. People can
wasn't
just
even
hear
the
everything
roof.
we're saying, right? Like, this is just going out. Hi.
Hi.
Wait, is Gunrun actually streaming this right now?
Oh, I don't think the sound is on the stream, but the microphones are on, so.
Wait, are we live? Arena? Right, it's like, is this happening right now? Like, are
Hot
they
mics.
filming us
Hot
right
mics.
Gunrun
No.
is streaming this out on our Twitch TV channel, but there's no sound right now. Twitch chat, so.
now? Oh, all
So who
right.
cares?
So who gives a shit?
Well, you could yell at Gunrun.
We could probably just
see what's happening.
We should probably have had the
You know what we
Twitch
should
TV
do?
chat live up
Oh,
there,
man, that
so that
would've been
everyone in the
awesome.
audience would have seen them making fun of us.
We also could have had a sign.
Oh, we could have told people about the panel.
or yeah, we could have.
Oh, we could have done a live show at QuakeCon.
All right,
did
I think we
tweet.
should just start. I think.
No sound, says someone on Twitter.
What really?
Because he hasn't
that's-
turned the
hasn't
sound
turned
Yeah,
on.
there's no
the
fucking
sound
sound.
button.
It is
All right,
1:35.
We should
All right.
just.
You want
the sound
to
is
yell a
on.
gun
You
run
said
and
sound.
tell
Wait,
them?
sounds on?
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't the episode yet.
And now it is.
Should we close the door?
If we
No.
close the door, then no one
No,
can
leave
show
it
up.
open.
Oh, okay.
Leave it open because there are people coming.
Yeah, we want
Leave
the
it wide
stragglers.
open.
There are definitely people coming.
Okay.
That aren't here.
Like that guy. Hey.
That guy's here.
Hi.
Hey.
Should we do it?
So what are we doing?
Podcast.
You're doing it and etc. And then Matlock is happening.
Am I going to do the
We're
Matlock? Am I
gonna
going to play the Matlock?
I don't know if Matlock is a good idea.
Okay, what are we going to do then?
Oh, you
called it- normal way.
You aborted Matlock. All right.
Well,
All right.
because when we did the music before, there was like people coming in, and like we had a
Yeah.
whole team.
The Matlock theme will draw people in like.
I was.
a science.
they'll naturally be drawn to the Matlock. All right. We're
All right, we're not
Matlock
doing
theme.
it. So, it's the worst
It's-
thing with no intro.
We don't know how to start.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Hey.
Do it.
Oh, well, I'm
I
gonna-
drank a balls and then we just
Yeah,
introduce
yeah.
ourselves
So
and
this
go
is
from there.
this is an actual live podcast.
This is a live-
unlike the usual live show. We're starting it like a podcast.
Well, where we just
restarted 10 minutes.
Totally fucking up. No.
It's behind the scenes.
Okay, so
It just says stickers.
that's a note for myself about stickers. Yeah. We're going to start a podcast episode now, so great. Get ready for that. It's August 4th, 2012, and I just paid $2 for balls.
This is Idle Thumb 68, and I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Jake Rodkin,
I'm Nick Brecken.
And I'm Steve Gaynor.
and Sean Vanneman isn't here because he's not. Yeah, so thank you guys for showing up to this episode of Idle Thumbs.
Yep, thanks, we appreciate it.
Hey everybody.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do these very well. We did
Yeah,
one at
we're bad
PAX,
at live episodes.
and that was 2 years ago.
But now we're at QuakeCon,
Yeah.
Yep.
enjoying a lot of sweet PC games.
Yeah,
And doing a podcast.
Yeah.
we played Dishonored.
That's
That
definitely
was
true.
fun.
We all played a lot of Dishonored, kind of, because it's seemingly a pretty sweet game.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Have you guys gotten to play Dishonored? Anybody here gotten to go down to the floor and check it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. JP's
a-
excited.
Yeah, it's a first-person stealth game. It's kind of like a cross between Thief and BioShock. Like you stealth around and assassinate dudes, but also you have mystical powers.
Supernatural.
Oh, sorry. Can you? What is this? Get out!
It's the only reason I'm here to just like.
Can you disambiguate that shit, Bethesda representative? What is the difference between supernatural and mystical powers in this case?
I don't know.
The difference is that one of them is on the press release.
Yeah, one of them is on
and
the
one of
box.
them isn't.
And yes.
So yeah, some sort of
it's-
supernatural ghost or something gives you powers.
So correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. You play a ghost
Yes.
who is honorable, and you cast spells on a
Now
robot.
I have to quit. Yeah. No, it's a pretty good game though.
So you got to play, Chris, the level that was out on the show floor, right? The one where you're supposed to kidnap a scientist.
Oh,
Did
I
you play a
also
different
played
one?
that.
They also yesterday they were showing one where you went to a party and it was like there weren't guards around. You could just wander around a party, kind of like observing and stuff for a long time. That was what
Can
they
you
had in the
party?
press room yesterday. You can't like press X to party down or anything. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
That's pre-release build, it's fine.
Yeah, they'll get that in. They'll get that in. But no, it's a really interesting game because it's very non-linear. Like especially the party level that I played, where it's just like you walk around this estate and you can just kind of go up and talk to people and see what's going on. And people are just walking around having conversations.
Could you deploy rats in the party?
Yes, you could.
In the demo on the show floor, you have a power of some kind that isn't a plasmid.
Yeah.
Where it's not, but where you can just summon a bunch of rats that come flying up out of, I guess, presumably the holes in the environment, but they just sort of come out of the ground, and then they eat people until all of their skin comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, and it also attracts other like guards get distracted by the fact that there's a rat eating a guy, and then they also start getting devoured by rats.
Do real rats get attracted by like the rotting corpus?
Oh, I don't know if
created by the
environment
ghost
rats do, but
They do.
Like,
the
oh,
thing
they
that-
do, really?
The thing that's the best about the rats.
I was kidding.
eating
That's a
guys-
real
yeah,
thing that
no,
happens
yeah.
in this game.
Rats summon guards and rats. That's the two properties of rats.
Does the game, if you let it run long enough, will you just crash your system because so many rats?
The rats
propagation?
eventually
Yeah.
dissipate, but the rats
Yeah,
eat
it's-
these
this
guys
game's
until
bullshit.
they're nothing but just like muscle and gristle, just this weird, just sort of skinless guy. But then the best thing about
It's
that
a cool
is
game.
you can still walk up to that big sort of pile of vaguely connected limbs and hold X to pick it up like you would a regular corpse. So I was playing the mission on the show floor and I picked up this just puddle of musculature. It was just gross. Walked into the room where the guy was that I'm supposed to be like escorting back out, and then just threw this horrible ruined body down on the table, and nothing happened. But I was really excited by that. Like, yeah, also just summoning rats.
That's also
And
a
then-
pretty good way to like
It's-
pacify somebody who you're supposed to be capturing. This is the last guy that I was supposed to bring in.
Yeah, it makes you into the worst person in a really
Yeah.
good way, where you can alert guards to your presence by just throwing the skinless remains of their friend right in front of their feet from a 3th-floor balcony.
Well,
that's-
Steve was
that's-
saying it's a really intellectual game.
Yeah.
it's
It's a thinking
I like how
man's
fast that went.
video game.
It's a,
Yeah,
it's a
it's-
thinking
it's
man's
a-
It's a
rat
game for
summoner.
the thinking sociopath.
Yeah.
Well, but it's, I mean, that kind of thing, there are a lot of ways to be, expressive or just decide I'm going to do something weird and then actually
Yeah.
do it in the game.
Yeah.
And you noticed
I know
me
what you
do
did.
something, and I don't know what it was, but you said you were going to tell me what I
Oh,
did
right.
that you saw me do.
You
when I-
rescued a prisoner
Yeah.
who walked up to you and started telling you information, and then you just immediately strangled them to death. And then you picked up their corpse and threw it onto the mattress so it landed in this really awkward splayed position, and then you
Yep.
walked away. And I was like,
No, but then he came back and threw another man on top of
Oh,
that
yeah,
man.
Oh no, these are two different things.
Yeah.
So let me explain. so one was there was
You
so
do need to
you go to
explain
the
yourself.
scientist area and he's like dictating this thing about how he's gonna like vivisect this person or something, and they're in a cage, and so you can unlock the cage, and they're like, thank you, and I was like, you're welcome. And then I went around behind them and just choked them out and threw them on the ground for no reason whatsoever. The thing that Nick is talking about is in the party level, it's in a huge estate, right? And like the party's going on downstairs, and then people's bedrooms are upstairs. I'm not supposed to go up there, so I was sneaking around up there. And these guards, started to see me, so you have tranq darts, you can knock people out. So I knocked out one and dragged his body into a bedroom so nobody would find it, and then his friend came around the corner, I knocked him out, and I was like, this will be scandalous. And I threw them on top of each other on like the lady's bed, and I was like, they're gonna get in some trouble.
you said, tee hee hee, and
Yeah,
then
I
you walked
did.
out of the room,
It was
closed the door.
so I mean, also there's a video game in this video game that doesn't involve just fucking around doing stupid things, but that was what we enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
That's the Idle Thumbs mode, is they just remove all the level structure and like missions, and it's just sandbox of creating like sex scandal
Yeah.
tittering.
I can possess a guy and walk him into a pile of rats. Like, but then you depossess him and find out that you're the one in the rats, which is too bad.
Yeah, how does that work? Because I possessed a guy.
What's
and
the
I just-
magical explanation behind the possession?
Yeah, is that mystical?
Well,
Or
it's-
mystical.
It's sort of a spoiler.
Oh,
Who invited this?
Yeah. No, there's a ghost man.
I knew it.
There is. There's a supernatural man, and he gives you the powers.
They've talked. That's not a spoiler.
That's
That's
not
not
what I meant, though.
That's
I
not a
just
spoiler
meant-
to say that much.
I
Yeah.
just
the
meant
outsider.
mechanically because I like climbed up a bunch of
You appear
rafters
where the,
and I
where
was
the possessed guy
okay.
is.
Yeah, I didn't
That's what
understand.
happened.
I was confused.
Because I thought that I was walking around a guy inside of his head, and then I would warp back to myself. Like, Steve, you found out that it didn't work that way because you possessed the guy, and then walked him off a cliff into the water, and then tried to jump out of him, and then found out that you were the one off the cliff.
I was
which
also
is,
in the water.
Twitter challenge.
Twitter chillers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else were we going to say about this game? It looks really pretty.
Oh yeah, it's a
I mean,
beautiful game.
I like that it's very. This is something that I think a lot of games in this vein have. If you go back to the kind of Looking Glass stuff and Bioshock, like a lot of the game experience is just very muted. I mean, that's expressed in the art direction as well. It's a very, visually speaking, it's sort of a quiet game. It looks really nice. It looks really beautiful, but there's not like.
It's not just
Visually speaking,
exploding in your
it's a quiet game,
face
and
all
then
the
you
time.
play it.
Well, obviously the things that happen are ridiculous, but in a good way. But it's tonally, it's not super in your face,
Yeah.
and I like that because to me it's suggestive of the kind of open-ended avenues that are available to you in the gameplay, which is that the game is not overtly trying to message you
Yeah.
a tone, right? Like it's not throwing a
Well-
bunch of explodey cutscenes in your face and implying that that's what you should be trying to mirror in
So
the
I think it
gameplay.
is. I mean, because it's doing the opposite, right? It's saying like you should probably try to be quiet and blend in,
Yeah.
Because the opposite would be you should be trying to explode everything constantly, which is what most games do.
But
right?
still, all of your actual verbs are, pretty much all your verbs are violent in nature, so I
Right.
feel like there's enough implication. Like, it's a video game, so the implication is always murder everybody. I mean, like, that's just always there.
But so the
regardless.
tone has to work against that, right? Which is I think
Yeah.
part of what they're trying
Oh,
to do.
fair enough, yeah. So they balance it out. I
Yeah.
like it. It's cool.
And it is a really nice looking game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the guy who did the art direction for Half-Life 2
Yeah,
got hired
Victor
on for it.
Antonov, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Well, he did the sort of architectural stuff, and then Sebastian Maton at Arcane did the sort of character art and larger scope.
Well, because like the mechanical stuff.
Who
is
painted those
definitely-
bricks?
I don't know, Jim.
What are you here for?
What?
I don't know. It's awkward. It's so awkward to talk about this game because I don't know. I
Yeah.
see it every day, and I basically live this game for months, and
Sounds like fun.
yeah, it is fun. I mean, like my job in the last 2 weeks was to just basically make creative kills of dudes. So like everything that you guys did in like
So you
5
can
minutes.
put them on an
I just
internet?
do that for like 2 weeks. Yeah, we're gonna put it on the internet, so it'll be good.
Oh, Creative Kills.
Creative Kills. It'll be the Creative Kills. Yeah. .net.org.
A Creative Kills license, attribution.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be expensive because you're gonna have to register net.org to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good game though. Yeah.
Did anyone here actually bring their own computer? Yes.
Oh, we got BYOCers.
I have nothing to say about that other than thank God that you brought your own computer. Because I went, like the last time I was at QuakeCon was in 2001, and I also didn't have a computer then, and I lamented not being MOC. And this year it's the same thing. I'm sad. I wish that I was here just playing a video.
Well,
game.
I mean, I've never been to QuakeCon before, and I think I was expecting it. I was assuming it was going to be more show floor, and in fact, it's heavily weighted towards. So BYOC for people that aren't at QuakeCon and are on the internet means bring your own computer, and it's basically just rows and rows and rows of tables in this huge, like, I don't know, fucking airplane hangar.
Yeah.
That's the biggest LAN setup I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And yeah, it's everybody just brings their own hardware and plays whatever they
And then
want.
some people just browse Reddit, which is the stupidest thing to me, but whatever. Although the best and most
can't be
awkward was
gaming
when I
24/7.
walked past someone, I tweeted this last night, who I saw browsing Reddit, but then he was unfortunately just middle-clicking links that had the red NSFW tag into background tags while sort of looking over his shoulder, and I was like, no, I gotta go to sleep. Horrible, horrible.
But see, that guy gives way more of a shit than the multiple dudes that I saw who just their
You
wallpaper
minimize
was
Minecraft
just
and the breasts.
yeah, there's just like porn wallpaper. I'm just like, all right, you just doing it. Don't
Whatever.
give a fuck. Like, it's like bring your own computer. Yeah, I'm bringing my computer. I'm not changing it. So yeah, it's impressive, and we saw the dude who was the fucking lord of
the highlight of the BYOC
Yeah,
area
we did.
is 52-inch HD TV as monitor lord,
Like
where it's
this
just a guy
far
with a
from the
screen
guy.
this big who then had Minecraft running on the equivalent of a 24-inch monitor windowed in there, and then he had IRC in the equivalent of a 20-inch portrait monitor, and then this whole like
He just had
3
extra-
square feet was
yeah.
just nothing.
It was
Like,
background.
and he
That
was
was the
like this
wallpaper
far from it.
area.
It was it was the best.
Yeah.
So that guy
Yeah.
is my favorite guy.
Yeah,
if you're here, you're the best.
I really do. I completely love that how big of a monitor he was, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, but if I want to play Minecraft, I really need a normal sized monitor.
Well,
It was that. It was the size of that Sharp TV, basically.
Yeah.
He brought his
it
own
wasn't
computer to
quite
our
that,
panel.
But like,
It was basically
I
that.
feel like if the next panel isn't using this, we should probably cobble together a
Yeah.
computer and set it up next to that guy with that fucking monitor. Just like,
just quietly, just
Just
kind of
quietly.
sidle next to him. Yeah.
but we're gonna run Minecraft full screen so we can actually just see the UI this big. Like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I clearly have selected wool. Yeah. Anyway, that show floor is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-shirt guys throwing stuff, balls being sold. They
Yeah.
got everything there.
I heard that
Yeah,
you paid
balls.
$2 for balls.
I was at
You
QuakeCon.
could.
I had to drink some balls.
How do you not?
What do they taste like?
What does it taste
Yeah, you
like?
should be saying what does it taste
like?
like. It's true.
It tastes like kind of gross Red Bull. I don't know.
All right. Yeah.
It's-
I
Wait,
can
that
imagine
sounds
that.
redundant to me.
I can.
I kind of like Red Bull.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
They were chilled. The balls was chilled. Got to keep us in the singular.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Huh?
Nothing.
What's so funny about that? Nothing.
No, I
Popular
mean,
energy drink. at
so
gaming
yeah,
conventions.
when I first came to QuakeCon, I was just walking around trying to get the lay of the
Yesterday?
land. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like
When I first came to QuakeCon.
within the first like 20 minutes of being within QuakeCon, I was just walking around trying to figure out where stuff was, and I was just hearing people chatting, just kind of like balls. I'm like, what? Why are people
Oh,
talking
that's the
about
balls
balls
marker.
so much? And I'm like, oh, the drink. But it was a weird
You didn't
and
hear- you didn't
confusing
hear the W
experience.
in there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah. You really should pronounce it properly, which is bowels. Then you'd be
I
able
don't
to
know
tell.
if that's better.
Yeah, that sounds like a brand opportunity. You should probably contact Bowels.
In addition to setting up
Yeah.
our huge TV next to that guy, we're also going to set up our
Bowels
bowels
station.
station
Yeah.
next to the balls people. So
Yeah.
Seen any?
We're
Seen
just,
any?
we're just selling balls. Like we've just also ordered wholesale a bunch of their drink, but we're pronouncing it differently. Is that?
Any other sweet games been viewed by you guys?
The Walking Dead.
What? That's
Well, sorry, I meant
at
a
all, so we're not talking
QuakeCon.
about that.
Oh, we're not talking about it?
Why you?
All right. All right. No, let's not talk about it. Joe.
We can talk.
No.
he just wants you to be in the awkward position.
I
You
do.
were
That's
just
kind of what I
saying.
wanted
Yeah.
to happen,
A
but
minute
no.
ago.
Actually, my dream is related to Walking Dead, so when we call Sean,
Oh yeah.
I'll get it in
Oh.
then.
Oh, we
Yeah,
actually
Should we
gonna
do
call
that?
Sean?
I think we're gonna call Sean. Yeah.
Well, you had a dream,
I did. I had a dream.
and you're going to
about
tell Sean about it.
I
right?
am, but we have to call him first.
Okay.
Maybe we should just call Sean.
That's
All right.
weird.
What? Yeah. What else?
He
is
said
it?
we should call him.
So we
Do you
just
guys
what
mind
he-
if we call Sean really quick? Okay.
All right, we'll call Sean.
He might not be here.
He might not be.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was happening.
Not even Sean.
He said he was gonna be around.
Did he answer?
This is terrible. This is what people. This is what
this
people
is
came
good
to
radio.
QuakeCon for. Some people flew out to Dallas to hear this.
Well, we did.
Well, yes.
Hi, this is Sean. Please leave a message.
Okay.
Can we just tell the story into the message?
Yeah, leave the voicemail on with the dream.
Okay.
Tell him about it.
Okay, so I had this dream.
This is good.
So the dream was I was playing The Walking Dead, and it was basically the first episode of The Walking Dead. But I was walking around, and I
Wait,
completed.
were you in it or were you playing the
I was.
video
I
game?
was in it. I
Okay.
was
Were you
in
Nick
The Walking
Brecken
Dead.
or
I
were
was
you
Nick
Lee?
Brecken
Okay.
in The Walking Dead.
Nick
All right.
Brecken in The
with
Walking
my
Dead.
mare, and I was
With your mirror?
Mare.
Yeah.
Mare? Like a horse?
All Brecken's
let's
mayor.
not-
Just come
so
on.
I was in The Walking Dead, and I completed The Walking Dead episode 1, and I got to the end, and there was a New Game Plus option, and so I went to the New Game Plus option, and instead of like The Walking Dead and adventure game stuff, there were like bananas from Donkey Kong Country, and I was running around collecting the bananas, and every time I collected a banana, Sean Vanaman's voice would appear, and he would say, "That's the stuff." Like basically like Mortal Kombat, like Toasty. It was Sean just going, "That's the stuff. That's the stuff. That's the stuff," for like an hour, and that was the dream because I was collecting so many bananas. It was just
Oh,
nonstop.
good. Because you were collecting so
No,
many
we got
bananas.
that. We,
Yeah. So that is maybe
We
a New Game
inferred
Plus
that.
option that you should maybe
So
implement.
can we get you guys saying that's the stuff to Sean if I count to 3?
All right. Yeah.
I think we should
Do
go
it.
1, 2, 3.
That's the stuff.
Thank you. And also, we have an episode name now, so that's good.
That was a good voicemail message.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Sean needs. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sean was on this episode, although it was his voicemail greeting.
Yeah.
So that's lesson.
Maybe he'll call you back.
Yeah, I'll leave my phone on just in case.
What about Klopp?
We're gonna talk about Klopp.
We could. We could.
Did you
I haven't
play-
played it, so
You did play it or you
I
didn't?
haven't. I haven't.
I
seen
haven't
it,
played it either.
Oh, never mind.
What? We can talk about Klopp for a
Okay.
second.
We
You
can-
know what
tell me
Klopp
about
is,
Klopp,
though.
Jake.
Vaguely.
So
I mean,
presumably everyone
Like
here,
18
I hope,
people replied to me yesterday saying Klopp.
Klopp.
I don't know
You
if
guys
you tuned with me,
know.
though.
You guys know Quap, obviously. And do you?
Strong
Have you been at
agreement from the
QuakeCon?
audience.
Did Klopp get announced before QuakeCon?
It came out yesterday. It was on Friday.
I noticed that Klopp failed to sweep the BYOC area like I was expecting.
I was actually walking around expecting to see it on at least one monitor,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
Klopp is like Quap, but you play as a unicorn who has to climb a hill.
Yes. It's Quap with 4 legs, basically.
So you have to sort of you press two keys for front,
What
right.
I
So
front,
you
heard
already
back.
have 4 keys in QWOP. So what?
Well,
it's
right.
one per leg.
It just makes the horse go like this with its legs.
Yeah. It's lift,
So, like,
leg,
it-
drop.
I'm
or-
glad this is a video podcast.
Yeah, when you press here, let me put out a key here. You press this and a leg goes up, and then you let go and a leg goes down. But when it goes down, it moves forward a little bit. So if you
yeah.
press just the both forward legs, the unicorn just goes like this and then sort of stops
So
until
you're
you move the back
triggering an
legs.
actual walk animation on each leg, as
Yes.
opposed to
It's up
like
is
physics
the,
impulses
Up is the
on
first
the
half,
clock.
but then it still
Yeah.
is weirdly physics driven, and like his
Okay.
head is not
Oh
really
yeah.
in your control, so it
you can
bobs
you can
around.
still flip the unicorn.
Yeah,
over
when you
really
make the
easily.
unicorn land on its head, you lose.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like, can you get a unicorn to climb stairs on a hill by making its legs go
Jesus.
crazy and
All right.
shit? It's,
Well,
so
and-
it's
and
horrible.
something I mean, the mechanics are great,
mean
but I also like
good?
the
I mean, it's the
hilarious. I like the hilarious fiction that. So these games are made by a guy named Bennett Foddy, who we interviewed
good
once,
guy.
and he's like a really smart dude. And yeah, he made this little fictional wrap around it where there's the unicorn standing here, and then it takes place in medieval times, I guess, because there's this sort of like foppish bard kind of guy with like a
Yeah, but
floppy
he's also
hat.
I
kind
thought
of
it was
like-
a restaurant medieval times.
Yeah, but he's
but
like
the actual medieval times.
Right.
and
Right.
it's all terrible fake old English, and he's saying to the unicorn like, "Hey unicorn, I hear there dost be a virgin over thine hill. Perhaps thou shalt like seek it out or whatever." And so you're trying to do it, and whenever you fail and the unicorn flips over, he's like, "Ha ha, try again, fool!" And he just makes fun of you, which is amazing, and I love. Especially because, Bennett Foddy is this dude who I guess just hates people, so he makes games to make their lives
It
worse.
seems to be the case.
And so I enjoy that it's just him making fun of you while you play it, and especially because the Olympics are going on, and he is on Twitter and he tweets about the Olympics kind of a lot, which is not surprising, right? Because you make games about like running track and rock climbing and stuff. But all that he's tweeting.
He makes games that look like that.
Well, yeah, but they're based on sports, right?
Yeah.
So whatever. But the point is, he's watching the Olympics, but all he tweets about is how he really hopes that someone will start crying or like puke, like he's like
Or puke?
Yes, like this is what he's been talking about. He's like, oh, Chen got fourth in the trampoline. I think the tears are coming. and then he'll tweet like 2 minutes later. He's like, darn, no tears. and then like one time he was like, oh, that runner just finished. I don't think he's gonna make it. Looks like he's gonna puke. I was like, this is amazing. So like,
his perception of the Olympics is actually he sort of sees it through this weird serial killer filter where they're actually playing his games.
Yeah, right. To him, QWOP is not. That to him is very naturalistic.
Yeah,
Right.
This is
that's-
just when he watches a track and field event. That's what he
He's like,
perceives.
these guys are so fucking good. This must be really stressing him out. He's just imagining their brain pressing keys,
Right, yeah.
like contorting limbs.
yeah. So he doesn't just take glee in players of his video games like completely failing at sports. He also wants professional athletes whose entire lives are like resting on it to get disqualified and break down crying. We're like, you're an amazing person, guy who made Klopp. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's good.
Fair question.
I think we're at the half-hour mark, which is the middle of our panel, which is when, well, if Chris had a guitar, we'd maybe play a song or
Yes.
something. But we'll splice one in that you guys don't get to see. We'll just splice in the PAX
Yeah.
performance of the Wizard for the final version of the video.
Sounds like fun.
No, I think actually what we're thinking about doing is just doing the second half of this as Q&A, if you guys are up for that.
Do people have questions?
anyone
Do
has
people want to
written
ask stuff?
Yeah, if you want to
'Cause-
do...
We didn't announce that, so if you don't have questions,
If you
that's
don't want to
Nobody
say
has
anything,
questions.
that's fine.
We saved the whole second half.
We've got nothing to talk about, so...
Well, the thing is, like reader mail, somebody can ask one question and then we can talk for 45 minutes.
So
So
all it takes is one. But we don't.
we
have
probably
that.
don't need a ton of questions. Or do we?
Do we have internet questions?
Are you asking me for real?
No. Is this rhetorical? No. It's
Okay, I'm going to do a thing now. Check this out. I'm going to go get
You're gonna
up.
go to the internet? Are you going to the phones?
No, I'm going to go get the microphone, and we're going to...
Oh, we're
Yeah,
actually gonna do that.
let's
Okay.
do it.
What else?
All right.
Go, Jake, go.
I don't know. We're streaming.
Do it, Jake. We believe in you.
Woo, Jay! Getting up!
Taking initiative.
Talk into it.
Now it just looks like you're a motivational speaker who's getting up and you're going to like pep up the crowd.
You guys hear what I'm saying?
Now I
Yeah.
can. Now I can.
This is for Steve.
Okay. Hi.
Say the wizard.
Baboo. Sorry,
Oh, you fucked
did I
it
do it
up.
wrong?
Does anyone actually want to ask anything to anyone?
Nobody does.
Nobody does, jeez.
Wait, so I see
Wait,
hands.
oh,
I
two
see
hands.
Damn it, I'm gonna run away from the microphone and go back.
Okay.
There, so it's your job now.
I'll hand it off.
You're carrying the torch.
I'll be Jerry Springer.
Run.
30 seconds of initiative.
Hi, guys.
Hey, hello.
Big fan of your work. Thanks for bringing back the podcast. Really
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Really quick. Good God. Also, to anyone who listens to this podcast, and especially to people who backed us on Kickstarter, holy fucking shit. Thank you so much. We didn't say that at the beginning because we took so long to come back that I kind of forgot to say thank you all the time when we do these now. Thank you guys. Jesus, holy
Yeah,
Christ.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you,
the
That
best.
was amazing and surprising.
Anyway, sorry. Zoom question.
So I have a theory that nobody likes, and some people are actually angry at me that I dare suggest it. So I'm kind of curious what y'all's take is on it.
Sure.
Is this Chick-fil-A related?
The gist of my theory is that I think digital distribution will destroy game consoles. And my logic goes like this. So game consoles are sold by places like the Walmarts and Targets of the world. They have next to no margin because they're cheap, right? They're $200 or whatever. And the only way that the Walmarts of the world want to carry game consoles is because they make more money on other things, like selling the games. But if the next version of the PlayStation or the Xbox doesn't even have an optical drive, that takes the games out of the question. So why would they bother to carry them anymore? They could carry something like code cards or whatever that you could type in a code
Yeah, but what's the
down.
point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, plus, as soon as people figure out, hey, I could just skip the trip to the store and buy the
Right.
next one online, it's done.
Yeah.
So the only way they would carry it is if they were more expensive and there was a margin in it for the store, which would kind of erode the point of a game console.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think that this could ever happen unless all the companies did it at the same time, because if the next Xbox doesn't have a drive and the PlayStation 3 does, Xbox is out. Is my theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And so-
I think that's. I mean, I think you're right on
Yeah.
on the components of that. I mean, I think that what you're pointing out is why the next consoles will all have optical drives.
Right.
Right. Because like
Right.
the retailers need to have. And so it's not just the retailers, right? Like there's a ton of people in this country and other countries that don't have access to broadband that's good for downloading games from, and they want to go to a store and buy a disc and have the game, because otherwise, like, I mean, like, Steam does really well and XBLA and everything, but that said, you're going to miss a lot of people if they have to have a high-speed internet connection to play your games. So there's a couple sides to that. But I think that there will be other reasons that the console market, like the hardware side, changes a ton after. I think this is the last generation
Yeah.
of consoles that are going to function like the consoles that we know of now. Because, I
I
mean, like
agree.
you said, costs are going so far up and people have so many other options for how to get their games if they want to. I mean, cost of the hardware and of just making a game that looks good enough to justify buying a new console for and everything, that, yeah, I think it's just going to be unsustainable after this generation, and I think it's going to be pretty spectacular to watch what happens to consoles in the next
Ga-
5 or 10 years.
Games are also a weird holdout, right? Like, very few other forms of entertainment are still so centered around expensive proprietary boxes that are bought in physical locations. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not. Obviously, people still sell tons of DVD players and
But still
DVDs
far,
in
far
stores,
less
but
than
like-
were sold 10 years ago.
Exactly
Yeah.
right, and it's
Well,
not.
and you can
there's-
buy any DVD player you want
you
and
can buy
watch any
right.
DVD on it.
And also, the movie, when you buy it through iTunes or Amazon Video or whatever,
Comes
is
with a code or.
yeah, it's the same. Like, it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
makes no difference.
Yeah.
You know, the content of the film is the same. Like, it doesn't need this expensive process to port a thing to another system and then do this simultaneous rollout and all this nonsense. I mean, I agree with Steve in that I think the next generation absolutely is still going to look very much like this one, but I think you're completely correct in the long term. I mean, it's a kind of an insane business model that consoles are predicated on. It's not the way the rest of the world is moving.
Well, yeah, movies and TV and music.
music's
has
been there a
all-
long
has-
time.
But it's
Books
all
now
moved
as
away
well,
though.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, my guess is that your basic thesis that download digital distribution will destroy consoles is basically true in the long term. I guess I wonder whether you think that's a negative thing.
I think it's great. Personally,
Yeah,
but-
I'm up for that. I'd love to
Yeah.
never have to buy another piece of dedicated hardware just to play a fucking video game on.
Yeah, the one of the corollary is I'm not 100% sure the PC will be what takes over again.
Yeah.
I would love it if it is, because I'm a big PC gamer guy or whatever. But
Yeah.
I just kind of, I mean, you know, Apple has convinced most of the world that you don't want an optical drive anymore. People are building computers without optical drives and just relying on Steam. We've
Well,
seen what
that's
that's
fine,
done
though. I
with retail for PC. You go to GameStop,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's a smattering of PC games that are all behind the counter, like they're cigarettes or something. So-
Well, I play almost everything on PC, and I haven't bought a physical game in years. I mean, there's just no need to at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, I think pretty much on the right track.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Thanks for the applause.
Thank you, that guy.
Sorry, there's that one guy. They're like, what? I just heard that one guy clap, and it was awesome.
All right, first thing, I am 30 minutes late to the cast because I saw Jake walking around and I thought you guys were in the really big room. So I sat there for 30 minutes. Like, when are you guys going to let us in? Come on.
Oh, man.
So that was a
No.
bummer.
Burn.
Like 100
But,
people there right now.
The main thing I wanted to ask is, on the first return cast, Chris, you said you felt like maybe you were too old to enjoy Diablo 3.
I don't know if it's that I'm too old. It's that it's hard for me to, because I'm not old, but I mean, it's
Right.
But it's hard for me to, it was just such a direct sequel, right? Like, I mean, it's in a lot of ways mechanically. I mean, I think tonally it's a very different game. But in terms of what it's trying to achieve, like the things Diablo 3 wants me to enjoy are basically the same as the thing Diablo 2 wants to enjoy, even if it goes about them in different ways. And
You played Diablo 2 for like hundreds of hours, right?
yeah, I played for hundreds of hours, and so it's just impossible for me to put myself in the same mind space as I was a decade ago.
Right, 'cause the only thing I was going to ask was, you really love Torchlight as well.
Yeah.
And, it's very, I mean,
Torchlight
similar
is
to
even
Diablo
more similar
2.
to Diablo than Diablo 3 is. in a
right,
lot of
because
ways,
Diablo
yeah.
3 is a weird system. I was
Yeah.
just curious if
So
you think that collates
Yeah.
in any way.
right, so and people have asked me this and have suggested to me that my judgment of those games is very inconsistent, and I think that's totally a fair response. But I guess to me, what is more important now than it probably was to me when I was playing Diablo 2 is not so much the kind of fidelity of the systems in play, and is more what I see in the authorship behind the game. And when I play Torchlight, it feels to me so much like a team that was like agile and just loving the hell out of what they were doing, and just a small team of people making this thing they really cared about, like really came through to me. And I don't doubt for a second that the Diablo 3 team loved what they were making and was really passionate and dedicated about to it, but it just feels like such a bigger product in a way that is just not as like personally exciting to me right now at this point in my life, which is different than how I would have judged something 10 years ago.
All right, well, if it makes you feel any better, I like Torchlight better. Like, I played
There you go.
Diablo 3, got to Inferno within the first couple of weeks, and I was like, I have nothing to do
Yeah,
anymore, so...
I didn't even get that far. I did play a fair amount I played I don't
You
know,
love Diablo
about
3?
20 hours of Diablo 3, maybe a little more than that. And then I was done, and I moved my computer from one place to another, and like that kind of just broke the streak, and then
That
I just
was
kind of
enough.
never, just didn't really load it up again ever after that.
I only played it when
Beta?
it was in the beta, but it was just like a video game lullaby to me. I was just fucking falling asleep while I was playing
Yeah.
it. Like, it's just such a tune-out game. Just like, I guess I just click on everything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really unengaging to me. You know.
Yeah. Well, now
but-
Video Game Lullaby is going to be excerpted and used as a laudatory quote on the box. So.
I don't know. Maybe I needed to be playing on like super hard mode, so I was dying all the time. Or
No,
something,
no.
but-
I mean, that is kind of. I do know what you mean, though. Like, there's an interesting thing about game design, which is that if you tune it too well, a lot of times you can just flatten your curve too much. And I feel like that was true about Diablo 3, where it is such a smooth curve in terms of difficulty, in terms of like uncovering items.
Yeah.
Like in Diablo 3, I never had that experience of finding the thing that's 20 levels too high for me and being like, whoa, this is exciting. This is a crazy thing that like someday I'll be able to use. You know, I mean, everything, it feels so tuned and so well polished, whereas Diablo 2 feels like such, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's a big budget game, but it feels so unpolished, and I love it. I
That's a
love it.
phenomenon that you see in Bethesda games too, and
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that's why I really enjoy what they did with Skyrim, because it's not as tuned as previous Elder Scrolls games, and you just hit that point where there's just a giant monster dude who basically just smashes your face, and you know, it's not leveled up to what you are, and it basically serves as something like a unique experience, which otherwise it would just be a ramp.
Yeah, I think that's something that happens in game design a lot, where it's like the logical conclusion of best practices for tuning something is just to sand off all of the edges and just make it this perfect like unblemished surface of game design. And in fact, there's nothing that's surprising about that. Right? And whereas when you're like, well, we're going to basically get it kind of in line so you never get totally screwed and you never go too long without finding something that's good, then occasionally you're going to find the outliers where you're like, holy shit, I didn't expect the flaming sword to drop already. I can't wait to use this or whatever. And I think that can happen in any genre, really.
Well, and I think that's why on Idle Thumbs we really respond to games kind of in the Looking Glass lineage, like, oh, Sean's calling.
Get him on the speakerphone.
Oh, hey, Sean.
Oh, what's up, dude?
Hey.
Can people hear Sean?
Yeah.
Yes, people can hear you. People can hear you.
Oh, hey, everybody. Is Nick there?
Yes.
Hi, Sean.
Nick, I had this crazy dream about you last night.
What?
Wait, what did he Really?
Okay, let's hear this.
I mean, I don't really remember much, but there was something about bananas, and, you felt like you didn't have enough bananas in your life, so every time you would acquire one, I would scream, "That's the stuff at you," and cheer you up. It was a really crazy dream. Yeah.
That's incredibly coincidental.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, that's no coincidence.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Twitter cheerleaders.
How is everybody? I miss you all very much.
They like hearing your
Really
voice, Sean.
embarrassing.
Can Sean hear me? No, I don't think so.
When you called me, because whatever that was, like half an hour ago, because the idea was that I would call into the panel, that I got the times screwy in my head, because Dallas is not in California, I guess.
Oh.
And you definitely caught me playing Dota when the phone went off with like 3 thumbs people, so I feel pretty bad about that in general.
I just want people to know, I have literally no idea what he's saying.
Oh, he said that he was confused about the time because Dallas isn't in California, and he wasn't paying attention to his phone because he was playing Dota.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that's
All
fine.
right, go back to Dota, Sean.
later. Understand completely.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, see you, dude.
All right.
That was cool.
So as we were saying, video games.
Next question, I guess. All right.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah. Next.
Does anyone else have I think this gentleman here? Yeah.
So on sort of the opposite end of Diablo 3, you mentioned Skyrim, and you work with Bethesda, so you play these games all the time. Skyrim recently came on Steam sale for QuakeCon, so it's 50% off. So my friends are finally buying it after, and I look at my Steam, I've got 400 hours in this game, and I'm like, how did I ever do anything for 400 hours, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
It's longer than I've
it's
kept
a
some
weird
jobs.
experience.
So like, how do you pull it off? Like, what kind of headspace do you get into? I mean, I have to get into it like, this is for my leisure time, so I don't have to do this for my job. But like, if someone's says, okay, you're going to sit here and you're going to do this for 400 hours, or you don't get to eat, like, I don't think I could play video
Wait,
games.
so you're asking?
I mean,
how do
well, you have to play shit, right? I mean, you're not like a playtester or QA or whatever, but
I feel like
like
I've played designer for 400 hours at this point.
yeah, well, because I mean, you spend a lot of time doing evaluation and like gathering media and stuff, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like I mean, developers, you guys know more than I do, but like I've heard that the experience of that is that you're making the game, and then there's a moment at the end where you can just like sit down and enjoy it, and that's always nice.
Sometimes there's that moment.
There is that for some people. But,
Sometimes that's years later.
I mean, I was talking to Arcane guys, and they were. Yeah. Well, I was talking to the Arcane guys yesterday, and they were like, "Yeah, I finally got to like actually play our video game once," and they were really pumped.
Well, that's something that happens on big games a lot. Like I know as a level designer on like a big game, like you're like, okay, this is your level. You're responsible for this hour and a half of the
Yeah.
game or whatever. And it's like, all right, I've played that level for
Yeah.
about 800 hours, and you don't have time or any reason, like it's not your responsibility to like play other people's stuff until a lot of times, late in development, it's like, all right, everybody, you're not doing any work today. We're taking a couple days, and everybody's going to do a full playthrough. And I think that's probably what those guys are talking about, where it's like, whoa, I actually got to step back from the game and see the rest of it, what everybody else was making, and it is really cool.
For me, it's like the experience of playing like the Unreal Tournament demo 1,000 times, and just like, you know what I mean? Like
I did that.
Yeah, well, I did too, but like I did that with Skyrim, where I like had to demo the same thing 1,000 times or play the same level 1,000 times, and it's basically that becomes like another game unto itself because it's not finished, and so that is also just something that feels alien once you actually play that finished level. So yeah.
When you start talking about it in the context of the Unreal Tournament demo, this is actually sad and is not actually historically accurate, but I remember when Quake 3 was in beta, and there was like DM17, I think was the only map in that? This is QuakeCon, so I can talk about this, right?
Somewhat relevant.
Yeah, it had DM17, and I remember in Quake 3 in particular, everyone who was playing the Q3 test, I think there was so little in there that people weren't able to extrapolate out what the entirety of Quake 3 was, and then it turned out it was just Q3 test with more maps, and I remember that really pissing some people off.
Right.
But then they forgot that it was actually really good. Play Quake 3. QuakeCon. Anyway, that's
Quake
all.
Live Arena.
Sorry, like Unreal Tournament, I don't think that was the case because that game was a wacky
modes.
mechanic zoo, and it was a piece of shit. Don't play Unreal Tournament.
Holy!
What? Last time I was here was 2001.
You can't say that.
Unreal Tournament, the original. Why would you play that when you can?
That was awesome.
It was awesome.
This episode is being beamed from the 2001 QuakeCon to today, where we're going to have a Q3 versus UT debate, and I'm going to fucking win.
I fall on the Quake side. You and I have historically fallen on the Quake
please.
side, but
No, it's ultimately a better game, but I still
That's
thought
right.
UT was awesome.
This is good. This is good. I'm glad this is happening.
Anyway, that's why you play Skyrim for 400 hours, because Quake 3 is the superior multiplayer first-person shooter.
All right.
Go, JP.
Oh, hi, JP. Hi.
It's JP Le
What are
Breton.
you were just the loungingest lounger.
I
What is it?
just got a question for you.
Well, JP
guys.
he needs to lord to ask a question.
Yeah. Well, okay, break it down for us. Actually, like 11 years after the fact, like let's fight this battle again. Okay, pros and cons. Quake 3 versus Unreal Tournament. What? So in your mind, Jake, you seem to have the strongest opinion here. I don't
really.
I swung both
really.
ways. So I enjoyed both.
I mostly I thought you were going to say take us back 11 years. Tell us about QuakeCon 2001. Because I want to hear about that
Let's do
shit.
that.
That's probably more interesting. Yeah, but
What do you remember about it?
I don't really remember a ton about QuakeCon 2001, other than it was in Mesquite and it was double booked with the rodeo, which is awesome. Otherwise, it was really similar, except instead of people playing, there's a surprising amount of Quake Live being played at QuakeCon, which is stupid for me to say because it's QuakeCon.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't actually honestly expect to see that many like basically Q3 games going on. Except in 2001, I was here because I had done like some texture work and a little bit of UI for a Quake mod, and like so I was
pimp your mod so I can download it. Pimp your mod.
The one that people actually played at QuakeCon was called Pro Ball, which is awesome. And it was a
Got
game.
any Pro Ball players in the house?
No one knows Pro Ball.
Show of applause. Pro Ball.
Yeah, that one guy.
Yeah.
Thanks, one dude.
I was more of I was a fan of the competing product Kick Me Quake, but that's because a friend worked on it.
The thing that I remember about QuakeCon, which was actually really depressing to me, was that since people played Quake competitively and they were playing it on 2001 hardware, it just meant that everyone had the lowest possible lighting model. Everyone had all the textures blurred out to be like a 1x1 orange square. So it looked like people were playing these games that, or like including the mods, because people were playing those competitively. Like my friends were all people who did the art stuff on these games, and I was like, this is the people that were making these games for. They just actually turned everything off. This sucks. And then we did one really.
I love the irony of that.
Yeah, it looks like if you love Star Fox, you'll love.
I fucking love that you come to QuakeCon because you're like, oh, I made some sweet textures. Let's go see them. And
yeah, so that was my memory of QuakeCon. But then I guess in Quake Live you can't turn all that stuff off as easily. So
you can definitely turn it up so that and if you're playing stock Quake 3, people and I saw people on the BYOC floor still doing that because if you have a
now you can get 3,000 frames.
If you have a circa 2012 PC, you definitely got to go RPIC 7 or
How can
whatever,
you
too.
play
I
that
like
shit
the-
at only 2850 frames per second?
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
I like that we've now just absorbed JP into the panel.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Fifth thumb.
Gross.
I really don't actually care about Unreal Tournament versus Quake at this point. I just remember at the time thinking that it was way more gimmicky and it annoyed me.
Are there embarrassing Usenet posts we could dig up on Google the Google Groups archive in which you're coming out
No, I'm
strongly?
sure that the
No,
internet.
there's definitely not. Don't look. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Do not search Jake Rodkin UT3 or you Unreal Tournament, please. Just don't.
Don't look at it.
I just thought Unreal Tournament was just fun because it was so crazy. Like, it just had crazy mode. I've always liked crazy modes. I mean,
You like a mutator?
yeah. I mean, and like when I played Halo, for
Like
example,
a
all
good
the-
fine mutator.
Artisanal mutator.
like when I played Halo, the only mode
That's
that
what
I
I
didn't
played
play
Quake 3
was.
as. That was my name.
Artisanal mutator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah,
continue.
like I would always just play everything except deathmatch, except in Q3, obviously. But like games that
Yes.
have crazy modes, I always just play the crazy mode instead of the
or just the crazy map.
or the crazy map or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a mishmash game of like 1,000 early.
You launched 6 rockets while in the
Yeah.
low gravity thing while someone was firing a first-person guided missile at you, and then I went, ugh.
Well, also, you were on like a vaguely World War II map because that was just what you did then. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I remember about Unreal Tournament. Also, I think that was in the demo. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you like storm
I
the
don't remember
beaches.
that in the
I think it's
What? I thought the demo of Unreal
Overlord.
Tournament was the
Overlord.
like map where you're floating around in huge space.
Yeah, there was that
DM,
one.
skyscrapers.
DM Morpheus?
Morpheus. Yes.
You know all this shit. Like, who? Yeah. So do we have another question? Anyone? Yes. Question, dude.
All right, I'd like to address the guys at Double Fine. There's always that guy that.
That's just me
That's
right
just
now.
Chris.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, JP.
Well, JP also right there.
But JP already
Yeah.
spoke.
Yeah.
You got your token talking out for this.
Well, everybody loves Tim Schafer, and
Yeah, he's a
there's
good
always
guy.
that one dickhole that asks the same question. Oh, what's it like working with Tim Schafer?
Uh-huh.
But just working around the office, maybe in time for like a deadline or some random thing. But do you have like maybe an off-the-wall story just working with Tim?
I don't know if I have any off the wall stories about Tim. Tim's an awesome boss, though. He's really, really cool. He's a really good guy. It is a really good office. It's fun. There's a lot of food-related challenges that happen at Double Fine, which is really weird. There's one called the Chavos Challenge, which there's this Mexican JP knows. There's this Mexican restaurant a couple blocks away called Chavos, which is like notorious at Double Fine. And there's, depending on who you talk to, Chavos is either just stomach disaster, or it's a really nice place to eat. And so there's about,
Depends
I
on
don't
who's
know.
working the back that day.
What's that?
Depends on who's working the back that day.
Yeah, I think it actually
Depends
just
on whose
depends.
stomach
It depends on the
is-
thickness of the
is,
stomach
yeah,
lining of the
taking
person responding. And so a couple months ago, there was the Chavos Challenge, which was it a week or was it 10 days, JP?
It was a work week.
It was a work, yeah. So the challenge was to go to eat Chavos every day for an entire week, and it was horrible. Only one guy made it, and it was the guy who, it's just the one guy who's the Chavo, like the champion for Chavos. So like of course he made it, just leaving a trail of intestinal destruction in his wake.
They win anything for it?
Then there was also
Were there
insurance
rules for this?
companies
Did you
just-
have to order a specific thing? Because I mean, it
anything
seems
you
like,
order is just enormous. Well, you
Oh,
can't just
okay.
get chips and salsa.
Right,
You have to,
yeah.
you have to make an honest.
You have
I'll
to
take
get
the nice
Chavos
side
signature
salad.
dish.
But in terms of another food-related challenge, since you asked about rules, there's another food-related challenge that had very explicit rules, which is the McDonald's challenge, which is you must go to McDonald's, you must eat at McDonald's every day for a week, and you bring $10, and you must spend all $10 only from the value menu. And there's a very specific range of things that can be ordered from the value menu. There's not really any way to cheat this. Like, you can't just get a bunch of sodas because they're not on
Right,
there.
the actual volume of food will be high.
It's distressing.
I mean, you could
watch
probably
somebody-
try to game it, but you would end up with like
No, there's
plus
just
or
no-
minus one cheeseburger.
Yeah, right. No,
probably,
there's not
right?
really any
Like,
way to game it because everything is just
as far
like
as
a dollar.
volume goes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you just get a bunch of orders of fries, or maybe fries aren't even on there. They're not. So everyone just comes back with like 10 sandwiches. It's crazy. Just a bag of cheeseburgers that they have to, and like.
and that's a one-day thing, right? That's not a
no, that's the entire week. and
Well, that's just fucking impossible.
it's totally impossible. And
I mean,
and
did
it was
anyone
just.
pass it?
I don't think anyone did. I think the
How the
closest.
fuck could you?
I think Jeremy came the closest. He ate like 8 out of 10 things, and everyone was cheering him on. And he's just like, guys, it's completely impossible. This is not going to fit inside this corporeal form.
The worst would be if over the course of the week the McDonald's challenge became easier.
What, as you just expand yourself?
Yeah, as you're like, the first day it takes you 2 or 3 hours, and by the end you're like, value meal $10, please. Just.
Do you guys do drinking games as well, or just
Do we what?
track? Do you guys do drinking games as well, or do you guys like your intestinal tract's like
we don't do.
fucked as it
No,
is?
we don't really do drinking games. Although we do every once in a while, every like I don't know month or two, we have a really cool day called the Hoff, which is where we just put all the because Double Fine is made up of like 4 or 5 teams at this point, and we just put all our games out across the studio and like just have. Bring in food and drinks, and everyone walks around and plays all the games that the other teams are working on, and that gets to something that Steve was talking about, where you're working on a game, or you're working at a company, and you don't necessarily know everything that's going on all the time on all the development. So it's actually really, especially at a company like Double Fine, where we make several games at once. It's really cool to see the things that your buddies are making that you just haven't seen because they're heads down at their desk most of the time, and you don't come in contact with that stuff. So it's always really surprising to see all the cool stuff that your buddies have come up with in the last month or two.
Awesome.
Yeah, Double Fine's a good place to work.
I think we have like 2 more questions worth of time, if those exist. There's one of them.
It's Chris Failer.
What?
So we have one.
Yeah,
So
I
we
thought
have
we
time
asked
for
this
one
man to
question.
be ejected.
I was just wondering what your thoughts are on HBO's current lineup and the upcoming season.
I don't know. What's on HBO
What?
right now?
What?
What?
Thank you for your question. Next.
Yeah, it turns out we have time for 3 questions. Seriously, are people not going to put their hand up until we talk about HBO's current season?
What do you think about Newsnight?
I noticed you have a NASA tattoo. That's awesome.
Oh, I do. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, NASA's cool.
Are you associated with NASA or just a fan?
Just a fan.
That's
I
extra
know
awesome.
more
you've
awesome.
chosen the
Yeah.
80s logo as well.
Yeah, the worm style. It's,
Yeah,
it's
the good
cooler and
good
fits
one.
better
What?
on
Both
an
NASA logos are pretty sweet. You don't like the classic one? What? What? Whatever.
Jake is just instigator of pointless.
I like both NASA
The classic
logos.
Unreal Tournament logo is way better. Sorry. What was your question?
All right. It pertains to Windows 8, the Metro. Do y'all
First, it's no longer called the Metro UI. Microsoft was told by their legal team that because someone else owns the name Metro, they have to now refer to it as the Windows 8 style UI across all platforms. So I hope you're enjoying your Xbox 360 with its Windows 8 style UI. Anyway, don't call it that anymore.
Okay,
Thanks.
I won't, no. Off limits. Gabe Newell said it was a disaster for PC gaming. Are y'all afraid of that at all?
I'm not afraid.
I don't know if I'm afraid of
there have
it.
been plenty of revisions of Windows that have come out that nobody fucking bought. Did anybody buy Windows ME? No, right? I mean, if it's that, it came bundled on your compact Presario, right? But if
God, the scorn dripping from your mouth.
All I'm saying is Windows 8 can be bad, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to be adopted, right? There have been versions of Windows that are so bad that nobody buys them, and they just stick with the prior version that actually worked, and then Microsoft puts something else out to paper over it.
You can
Isn't
turn
there a way to
you
just
can-
basically turn it
You
into
can turn
Windows
Metro
2000,
off.
right? I mean,
Also,
you can-
I
yeah.
think that what you're saying is going to be invalid just because I don't think Microsoft really believed in Windows ME either. I think Microsoft is putting everything they possibly have into Windows 8, across everything. Their tablet thing, their phone now looks like it, the Xbox looks like it. I don't think they're going to let it go. I think what this is actually going to be is closer to and I would like to be wrong because I think it's weird. Well, actually, back that up. I actually think that what they're doing with the Windows 8 UI is really interesting and cool,
Style
but
UI.
not for mouse and
for
keyboard
desktop.
based
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But what this feels to me more like, for better or worse, is when Microsoft put Internet Explorer out, everyone said, this is bullshit. And then they said, is it? We're going to put all our fucking money into this for 10 years until it's really good, and then it's going to be bad later. And the same thing happened with the Xbox, where everyone's like, that's just a computer with a box that you're trying, and they're like, nope, you know what? We actually are putting everything into this. Fuck you, you're going to have one. And now, there was a solid at least 3/4 of a decade where everyone used IE, and there was and I feel like Windows 8 is going to be shoved down your throat. And it maybe the next one of them is going to be good, or the one after that, but I feel like Like this feels like one of the Microsoft is actually committed to this things instead of the Microsoft is making a weird, horrible thing, which is what like ME felt like Bob or something, where it's like
as long
that's
as
going away.
As long as game developers can still just target the system and just not have to build for Metro, I don't really care that much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your
Like,
UI must incorporate the Metro.
No,
like,
I just mean like
library.
if it's not, I feel like it's unlikely to really affect me all that much if I, you know what I mean? Like what does that have to do necessarily with PC games?
Civ 6 requires a stylus.
Well, there are already games like like Skulls of the Shogun that is going to require Windows 8, and like anything that illegal, fucking illegal. Anything that comes out that anybody that wants Microsoft money so that they can put their game on the native Microsoft App Store that's attached to the like basic experience of Windows 8 is going to have to.
That's true.
Say, hey, okay, well, now we require Windows 8 because we want to be on your App Store, and you can opt out of that. But like, there are a lot of people that aren't going to, or aren't going to really have the practical option to, right?
We'll see how common that is, though, because most game developers who put games on PC don't communicate with Microsoft about it ever.
Actually,
like,
is the App Store going to mean now that to be Microsoft certified as a game, you don't need to go through Games for Windows Live, but you can go through the same App Store certification process that everyone else who wants to be on Windows 8 does? Because if so, that means Windows 8 is actually probably going to be good for like AAA PC games. Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
just saying that. Just because it's a better, worse thing.
So yeah, so Games for Windows Live, as far as I'm aware, is totally going away / being rolled into that. But my understanding is that.
Can we let JP talk before we're done?
Well, sure, but all I'm saying is, what I understand is that their App Store is very much based on Xbox Live style stuff. That's like very small footprint and basically like touch focus.
So it's going to be the same as Games for Windows Live, except there will actually be employees paying attention to your games that go through the certification process.
I don't think so.
Because GFWL and Xbox certification are really similar, but you just sit in the Games for Windows Live queue forever because I don't think that it's as high of a priority. Anyway, what are we talking about? Hi, video games.
I think the reason that Gabe Newell and whoever Blizzard guy were really down on Windows 8 is because...
We call him Gabe Newell and whatever Blizzard guy.
Yeah. Refer to him as Blizzard.
WB guy.
Yeah, is because the Windows... What they're worried about is that the Windows App Store will be the Internet Explorer analog. Gabe Newell is worried about Steam becoming the Netscape.
He's worrying about proprietary,
he's worrying about Steam becoming the Netscape to
that's exactly what
Microsoft's Internet Explorer, to their marketplace.
Right.
Because, if it's a marketplace that's built into the operating system instead of one that you have to install or something, that's bad news for him. And Microsoft, depending on how much Microsoft wants to be a dick about it, they could really do some anti-competitive, nasty stuff.
Yeah, and from his perspective, the reason that it's whatever he said, catastrophe for PC gamers is because it closes the platform, right? Like he's saying PC is an open platform. If Microsoft basically strong arms everybody into using their marketplace instead of Steam, well, now all PC games that want to be viable have to go through Microsoft cert, and you've seen how fun that is for console developers. So we'll see. The
thing I think is different between this and the Internet Explorer analogy is that, or in that analogy is different, is that Netscape, what happened in Netscape with an Internet Explorer was in an era before the Internet was...
It was in an era before the Internet.
No, before it was as sort of intrinsic a part of all of our horrible lives as it is now. And whereas I think people at this point, I mean, maybe this will change, I don't know, but I feel like people who go out of their way to play PC games are generally a pretty aware group of people about their platform. Like if you're going to go out of your way to have a PC that is capable of running games and you're going to buy a game and download it on PC, you probably are aware generally of the environment more so than someone in 1995 or whenever who just was like, what's the internet? Oh, there's this Internet Explorer thing. Like, I guess I'll use that.
I guess I'll explore it.
I think we need to shut this down because we're actually out of time, but I will say, you say that, but right now, Steam has risen to prominence in an amazing way without ever spending $1 saying the word Steam.
Yeah.
And you know that Microsoft is going to spend dollars saying the words App Store.
So maybe Valve should start doing that too.
That's weird. I mean, but that is why Gabe Newell weeps.
It's competition.
Yeah.
Dollars.
I guess all I'll say
it's not the
is
worst
like
for Steam to finally have some competition.
It's honestly not.
I mean,
but anyway.
But I mean, like you had to put a leaderboard in Wallace and Gromit on Xbox. Do you want to have to do that on your fucking computer?
Yes.
But he's not going to have to target that, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's how fast Microsoft moves, right? I feel like
what the future needs is leaderboards in every game.
Done.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Are we not at QuakeCon, the home of competitive gaming? Do we not love leaderboards in Proteus? Or what?
Are we not entitled to
Proteus?
What is Proteus? Wait.
It's that Ridley Scott movie. I heard it wasn't that good.
No, what game am I fucking thinking of?
I have no.
Oh,
the
Proteus.
The pixel art experiential
Proteus.
game where you walk
Yeah.
around hills
Yeah, that's
and
Proteus.
Proteus.
Yeah.
Prometheus.
Not Prometheus.
Oh, Avatar.
What?
Oh, Avatar.
Oh.
Thank you guys for coming to the Isle of Thumbs live panel.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody. It was
guys.
great.
Yeah. Also, thanks to, I don't know if anyone is actually watching this live stream, but thank you for doing that. I'm sorry we couldn't see what you were saying about how bad we are.
Yeah. Thanks to Gun Run from Twitch TV for helping us
thanks
out with
everyone
that.
for helping us stream this. Woo!
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Games.
All right.